Financial independence encompasses a lot of things, but sometimes you just need to simplify it. Sometimes you need oversimplification. And that's why today in this video, I'm going to be oversimplifying the steps to financial independence. I've put together 5 major steps that you can take in order to achieve financial independence, or that you can help explain to someone how they can achieve financial independence. This is not going to explain in every detail how to achieve financial independence, but these 5 major things that you probably can do in order to get to financial independence is something that almost anyone can start with. And as a quick disclaimer, there are many different ways that you can achieve financial independence, and this is only just going to be one of them. Okay, this is just one path that someone could take. This is one path that I think that is probably the most accessible for most of us, and that's why step number 1 is to master your big 3 expenses. Okay, the big 3 expenses are housing, transportation, and food. Just by cutting those 3 expenses, you can probably get to, or at least very close to, a 50% savings rate. Okay, if you can achieve a 50% savings rate, and a savings rate is how much money you're basically putting towards investments. 50% of your income, if you can get that towards investments, then you're going to be well on your way to achieving financial independence. Now, you can do something like, when it comes to housing, house hacking is a really popular option. When it comes to transportation, buckling down, getting only one cheap car, that's a way that you can drastically reduce your transportation costs. And when it comes to food, just switching to a really low cost grocery store. And step number 2 of this oversimplification is to try to do that, achieve that 50% savings rate until you reach about 25 times your annual expenses. Now, this is thrown around a lot just because it's a really cool general rule of thumb to follow. It's really easy to remember. But when you reach 25 times your annual expenses in net worth, that's going to be about how much net worth you can have, where you can withdraw about 4% of your portfolio. Okay, so if you draw 4% of your portfolio, how much you are how much you have invested, then you're going to be meeting your 25 times your annual expenses. So if you can reach 25 times your annual expenses, that is a really good, just journal milestone to shoot for on the path to financial independence. So for example, if you spend $30,000 per year, okay, and that's going to be after taxes and everything, if you actually spend $30,000 per year, you can simply multiply that by 25, and that's going to give you $750,000. So you would need a investment portfolio of about $750,000 in order to become financially independent and spend about $30,000 per year. And this is a really good general rule to follow because it has an actual very high success rate. For one example I have here for you, gives you an 87.78% success rate. This is a 60-year retirement with 80% stocks and 20% bonds. And it also does not account for any Social Security. So as you can see, those are some pretty good odds when it comes to becoming financially independent. And if you're enjoying this overly simplified video so far, please make sure you like it and give it a thumbs up, because it really does help me out and I really do appreciate that. It also helps the YouTube algorithm spread this video to more people that need to hear it. So thank you. Step 3 is to invest in a very simple index fund portfolio. Okay, and most of these simple index fund portfolios are going to consist anywhere from 1 to 3 different funds. Okay, so if you have a 1 fund portfolio, a 2 fund portfolio, or a 3 fund portfolio. Now, we're not going to go into detail what that actually means, but basically it entails investing in, if you're based in the US, primarily in the US stock market, some of it into international stock markets, and possibly into US bonds. So that's a very simple portfolio. You can go either way. You can make that even simpler, all the way down to 1 fund. If you're picking like a target date retirement fund or something like that, you could even get your portfolio super simple to be only 1 fund. The point is that if you can keep it simple and you keep consistent by consistently putting in 50% of your income, and then you're probably going to achieve financial independence relatively soon. So for example, I have here, if you choose a 1 fund portfolio, you could choose a fund such as VTI or possibly VT, and these are going to be Vanguard funds. If you're going for a 2 fund portfolio, then you could possibly pick VTI plus BND, or alternatively, you can pick VT and BND. And then for a 3 fund portfolio, a good option could be VTI plus BND plus VXUS. But now we can move on to step number 4, and a very crucial step in step number 4 is to increase your income, hopefully by starting your own business. Now, this can come in many different ways. You can start your own business by simply freelancing, or by simply doing some consulting, or doing what everyone calls a side hustle. There are many different ways that you can start your own business, but basically it's to get some extra income in, beyond, in addition to maybe your primary day job. And the best way I think that you can do this is by actually starting starting your own business in some way. And starting your own business doesn't have to be some huge impossible endeavor. There are many different paths that you can take in order to start a small business, and it can end up being very profitable for you, and you can continue on once you become financially independent if that is something that you want to do. Step number 5, I'm gonna save this for last because many people actually go after this first, but step number 5 is to get rid of all of your consumer debt. Now, it is not a 100% requirement in order to achieve financial independence that you be debt-free, but being debt-free while you are financially independent can feel really great, and it also lets you open up and be a lot more flexible in everything that you do. Consumer debt is one of the biggest financial issues that most people are going to face in their lives, and most of them are going to accumulate that consumer debt unknowingly. They don't know what the consequences of their actions are going to be. So some mistakes that you make, early on in your 20s, you could be paying for well on into your 30s and 40s and so on. So consumer debt, getting rid of consumer debt can be a really great step on your path to financial independence. It can be great for you financially, but also for you, in your mind. It can also feel really great to be debt free. And these 5 steps are probably what I would tell someone if I was trying to very oversimplify and explain what financial independence is to someone that I know. But if they want something more, if they want a full guide on the path to financial independence and getting started, or yourself, you want a full guide to getting started on the path to financial independence, then what you can do is go ahead and watch another video that I created, a full guide to getting started on the path to financial independence. I highly suggest you watch that video if you have not already. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Zach from uncashflow.com, and I hope to see you next time.